Bandha Nritya, which is also a very strong part of our style. Unfortunately, none of my students have learned that. And that is the reason I requested Bani to share her research things with you, all of you, so that you all can have a good idea of Bandha Nritya. And if anybody is ready to work really hard, can start learning Bandha Nritya. So now I would like Bani to take over the mic and continue with her talk. Let me tell you about this little bit introduction of Bani. Bani is a well-known established Odissi dancer in New Jersey, USA. She is performing more than 40 years, and she is also a disciple of Deva Prasad Das and Guru Durga Charan Ranvi. She has many students in USA, especially in New Jersey and New York. And while giving training, performing, she is also working on Bandha Nritya, and she is doing some research work to prove anybody can dance Bandha Nritya in any age if they can do right efforts with their body and knowledge. So first we'll go with Bani, her lecture, and then her presentation about Bandha Nritya. After that, we'll have question and answer sessions. So you all are ready to ask relevant questions, which is relevant to the topic, Bandha or Deva Prasad ji, that's it, not the whole Odissi structure. After that, we'll celebrate Ravindra Jayanti, where we will dance, we'll talk about Ravindranath, and if anybody is interested, can sing or share their views about Ravindranath. So let's start with Bani.
Thank you
Bani, it's
for
yours
inviting me today. I'm very honored to be part of this event where you are celebrating Gurudev's birth Jayanti or Ravindra Jayanti, and who really is a guru of everyone. He touched millions of people's life, and I started dancing when with the Ravindra Sangeet that I learned for. We celebrated the Rituranga, where he wrote all the poetry about every season, and we really enjoyed dancing to that. And I mean, I still enjoy with my aunt. I sit down and I watch the stories that in Netflix, stories he wrote, and how he showed in his stories the women are so powerful, so creative, so strong. They survived in that situation when they were not even allowed to get out of the house or study or do anything they liked. In that atmosphere, in every story, he gave so much importance of the female energy, or the woman of India, woman of the world. And so I want to salute today to that energy, to that creative, and to the strength that we have. And let us celebrate that creative energy, that strong energy, and bring happiness to people. I have always been blessed with great gurus. Guru Deva Prasad ji is one of the the gurus that has again impacted my whole life. I have been watching. I haven't seen Guruji, but I saw late Guru Srinath Raut always talked about it. That time I was little, I didn't understand much. Then I saw Jyoti doing a lot of research in Deva Prasad Das style. Then my association with Guru Durga Charan ji for last 30 years, every time he composes, every time he is in a difficult position, he always tells me that this is my guru's discipline or guru's shiksha that I have to carry on, that I have to promote, that my guru has given his own whole life and brought so many brilliant compositions that uh, Guruji, Guru Durga Charanji always remind himself in any difficult situation, in any new situation he is in. And that makes me very interested to go into and know more about Guru Deva Prasad Das. So this pandemic was my way of, I got so much time to finally get to read about Guru Deva Prasad Das. And Guru Durga Charanji gave me a book, Nritya Anusarani, written by Guru Deva Prasad Das, that I was able to read and understand a little bit about Guruji. And I saw how much he contributed to Odissi, and he was very well known for his Bandha Nritya, item that he added into the Odissi repertoire. So I got very interested, and I looked into it, and it looks so brilliantly, beautifully, those dynamic poses that the dancer is taking, and how important Guruji put into this Bandha Nritya, that made me look more deeper into it. And I, thank God, to the YouTube, I saw hundreds of Bandha Nritya Gotipuas, these little boys who are dressed in a girl's attire. They are dancing. I'm sorry, this lady, her students are performing later on. So I saw Gotipua dances, and in that they are, with the electrifying energy, they are taking these difficult poses. They are dancing in those difficult poses, and it needs so much of concentration, so much of flexibility, so much of endurance, that made me again look deeper into it. And I read in Abhinay Chandrika that these poses are very difficult and should be used in very early age, and if not used properly, it can bring some deformity. So that is again kind of hindrance, but I still wanted to research into it and look into it. So I found that, so let us start with bandhas. What is bandha? Bandha is means to make a knot, to join together, to tie together, and it's a Sanskrit word, but in Odisha it has many different meanings, and it is used in many ways. The one way in a Nitya Prakash, it is written that the kavya, the poetry that is written in Odisha, is called Bandha Kavya, because the way the stanzas of the poetry are arranged to make a beautiful picture. Or they took a picture and they put different alphabets in the different positions in that picture. So it is very tricky to read, but it is beautiful presentation. Then we'll see Rati Bandhas in the Konark temple. That is a very poses to its sexual process. Again, in many, it's called the Pattachitra or Bandha Chitra, which is a very unique in Odisha, where you will see a painting that is showing the scenes from the stories of Hindu mythology. There's one very famous Manmatha Bandha Chitra, which is about a Kandarparatha. That is the gopis are making this, twisting their body to make those kind of poses, like a wheel, to make a chariot for Krishna to ride. and have a joyful ride. So this is this is called bandha poses, where they make a knot with their body limbs, and these are very difficult, and but they're very beautiful poses uh, to to use it as a pose or to use it in the movement. Then these poses, I remember Devaprasad Guruji mentioning in his book that these poses were used by the gopis, and this was called rasas. And these are the erotic games that the gopis used to play with the Krishna, where they would make these poses to make a shape of a elephant or a horse or a chariot for the Krishna to ride in, as a mount it will be, and the Krishna will have a ride. So these were called gajarasas, ashwarasas, purna rasas. There are 5 kind of rasas. They're very, very unique in Orissa, and this kind of formation is also very unique in Odisha, and especially you will see in Bandha Nritya later on. As I started around 17th century when there was in Odisha, Mughals were attacking made by make this the temples especially, and they were destroying the temples. So this Pratap Rudradeva, the king at that time, he tried to build those akhadas around the temples in order to protect the temple, and he appointed those boys who learned the martial art in order to protect the temple. Again, because of the temples were being destroyed, all the practices of the temple rituals were stopped, and to continue those rituals, these little boys, little good-looking boys, very young age, they were appointed to, and they learned the Mahari dances, and they continued practicing those dances in those akhadas while the temple was closed because of the damage. And these pillars were, these little boys were dressed like a woman, and they learned the Mahari dance, and they were under supervision of Guru. They would live there and they would practice this form. They were not allowed in the temples, but they were performing for the public. And these gurus were, they would not only train them in bandha poses, they were also training them with the music, with the poetry, with the dance, with the pakhavaj. So there was the whole lot of studies. These boys lived a very disciplined life, and they early morning, like Guru Durga Javanji tells me that they used to massage the body of these gurus were themselves massaging the body in order to make them more supple, and they used to take them to the shore and use and practice the sun salutation pranayam to start getting warm up the body in order to practice those bandha poses. They also learned the singing, the poetry, and also the pakhavaj, also the literature. So a very all-rounded training they got, and they started dancing this Mahari dance, and they continue till today. And our Odissi dance is mainly coming from these Gotipua dancers who maintained and they saved and they kept practicing even today. So they were started dancing the poetry of the Vaishnavites or poets, but they got very popular mainly because they started using the Bandha Nritya, where they were doing this taking acrobatic poses and using it, the movement in tal, in laya, to make it very beautiful dance. So some of the Bandha poses I will like to show you, Andrea, if you can show that. Some of the temple poses that you see, which is very similar to Bandha poses. like we have um, Ganga Avataranam, we have Chakra Mandala, which is very, this is Harinaprutta, beautiful Karuna pose that we use in Shiva dance even today. Then we have Chakra Mandala, Ganga Avataranam, which is very, very similar to Mayura. They, in local language, the Gotikas call it Mayura or Chira Mayuri, and Chakra Mandala, they call it Chaki or the wheel. So very similar to the poses. So in Abhinaya Chandrika, they describe 10 basic poses of Bandhas. We have that the Gotikas practices. Those poses are like Gagana, uh, Dvimukha.
I'm sorry, Bonnie. For some reason, it's not recognizing my screen share. It says I'm sharing, but it's not showing the image. I apologize.
Okay. So the Chira pose is like the legs going two sides. We will show, it's okay, Andrea, we will show it. We have a very beautiful model today. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Chira.
So Gagana, these are the very given in the Abhinaya Chandrika. While the body is in this position, sometimes they also touch their head with the feet, you know. So yeah, thank you, Andrea. Yeah, see, this one is again another example of Ganga Avataranam. In Mukteshwar temple, you will see also there's a beautiful pose that's called Ardhamandali, which is using the Shipta knees, Kari Hasta, like that. So those are the poses that tells us that it has been practiced for a long time. So now I won't take much time. So I will go into the training part. So that brings me to conclusion that I would definitely look into it. So I am very again blessed that I have with me Thais Pascal, who is a physical therapist, as a certified yoga teacher, and also has experience of learning Guru Deva Prasada style of Odissi for last 20 years. And she was very much willing to help me out to uh, to understand these poses and this dance, and find the way to practice to in she takes us you to a journey with simpler poses, and slowly strengthening the muscles and getting ready to take those difficult poses, bandha poses, which is our goal, and can be practiced by at any age, but the condition is to rigorous practice, regular practice. And she has a beautiful plan that I would introduce it in very quickly, so that we actually spend some time showing you the poses. So basically and we have Andrea Beeman, who is a certified yoga teacher, who continuously helps me to to get into these kind of poses and to strengthen the muscles that are needed to take these poses. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Thais. And thank you, Alicia, who is our model today, and her daughter, beautiful daughter Lakshmi, is with us to show some of those poses and some of those sequence of poses that will lead us to take those difficult bandha poses. So these are basically based on the FIT principles, which means foundation, individuality, and timing. So if we have to have a holistic approach to and also to be safe and to prevent the injury, it is a must that we should incorporate those yoga practices, pranayam practices, bandha practices, and introduce these bandha poses to all my young students, all the upcoming students who are going to be beautiful Odissi dancers should practice that, but with very carefully following this principle. What is fit means foundation. First of all, the foundation is very important, and it is very much needed. That incorporates 5 basic exercises to warm up. First, flexibility exercises, endurance or strengthening exercises, then your dance practice or the practice of those basic steps of Odissi, and then your item. So these practices should be followed very carefully. Warm up is not flexibility, and all these categories should be touched very carefully and very respectfully. So we should first warm up the body, and then go into the flexibility, which needs repetition and holding the position to like 20-30 seconds, very important. Then strengthening, doing the repetitive movement or stretching and putting tension on those muscles. So like that, we have a beautiful plan that Thais will introduce to you right now. So I won't go much more detail because the time is our limited. I would rather spend time to show you those poses that Thais and Andrea has been working very hard to suggest. Over to you, Thais. Thank you so much.
Hi, Thais. It's wonderful watching you after a long time.
Thank you. Good morning, Jyoti. How are you? So thank you for having me here with this presentation, Bani.
Proud to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bani D, for the lovely introduction. So I guess we could begin first, Bani D, with the Hanuman pose.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
So we should show them some warm-up exercise or flexibility exercise.
We could do some warm-ups. That's fine. So let's stand up. Alicia, Ambika D, and Lakshmi, let's stand up. And just warming up a very nice, simple warm-up is just to really increase the heat within your body. Working on so a lot of strength and flexibility work as if you're marching in place. So, hey Lakshmi, could you? Okay, you going back next to Alicia? Okay, great. So let's say 2 students walk into your program. You don't know their level of flexibility and level of strength. There's some simple exercises you could do just to test that ability and see where each student is at. So the first one we're going to do, ladies, if you both could sit on the floor. Sitting on the floor with your legs stretched out in front of you. Perfect. And if you point your toes up to the ceiling, inhale and raise your arms up towards the ceiling. Take an exhale, take another deep breath in and fold over and touch your feet, touch your knees, touch your thighs, wherever you could go. So I get this would have been much better to see if they were at a profile, because then you could actually see where they're.
So Thais,
ladies.
This is you are doing for warm up, right?
This is the screening, Jyoti. So this is to see their flexibility, right? So right now, as you could see, Lakshmi's head is more is more touching her knees, so she's definitely more flexible in her hamstrings. Yeah. And Ambika has hamstrings flexibility, but not as much, right? So it's a different stage right there. Thank you, ladies. You could come out of that pose. The other so that's testing the hamstrings. Now, if you wanted to test the muscles inside the legs, those are the adductors. Now you ladies could actually turn and face forward for this. So turn, face forward. Good, yep. And because already in the pose, so Lakshmi, you're going to, yes, spread as wide as you can. Okay, so right here, just inhale. And walk your hands forward in front of you to as far as you can go without hurting or feeling any pain. So Lakshmi, as you could see, she's able to reach more towards the floor. Her head can actually touch the floor. And Bika has good flexibility in her adductors, but she's not able to go as far as Lakshmi. So you know that these two dancers will be starting at different levels in their, in the program. Yeah. So we know Lakshmi has more flexibility in her hamstrings, more flexibility in her adductors, right? So if we come back up, walk your hands back up, ladies, and bring your feet towards you in the front. Okay. And I think this one would be a good, the next one we're gonna do is a good profile. If you guys could get into profile position again. Thank you. So if both of you lie down on your backs. And the following screening is also going to screen for back flexibility as well as the front of the hip flexor flexibility. So ladies, take a deep breath in, inhale, and plant your feet onto the floor, bend your knees, plant your feet on the floor. And I don't know, I think if Lakshmi could move up a bit because we can't really see Ambika here. Okay. And Ambika, you move down. Perfect. So that's perfect. So Lakshmi, have your hands down at your side, and Ambika too, head down. And you're going to inhale and lift your hips off the floor. And try to, again, if you're gripping with your bottom muscles, try to increase the height of your lifts. Try to push your hips even more up. There you go. Okay, so again, we see that in terms of the front of the hips, where Lakshmi is laying down, her hips are a little bit more flexible as well as her back. And Ambika would have to work more on that area. She's able to elevate off the floor, but not as much, okay? So ladies, exhale, bring your hips back down to the floor. So those are just a few of, some screenings that you could tell where your students are at in terms of major muscle groups. Okay, so ladies, inhale and come back up into sitting. Okay, and we're going to stand up and so actually, as you guys are there, since you're already on the floor, just stay there. We'll do a warm-up right here for the hips. If you bring the soles of your feet together, okay, and you're just holding your feet, I just want you to lift your knees up and down like a little butterfly, like your legs are butterflies, and we're just gonna warm up the hip muscles this way. So just warm it up. This is a perfect way to generate heat in those hip muscles and get that blood circulating and getting ready for some of these poses that we're going to be practicing. So you could just do that a couple of times, a couple of rounds, inhaling, exhaling, warming the body up. Okay, perfect, ladies. That's great. Now we're going to stand up. Come into standing. Okay, and another good, I always believe in definitely warming up these hip muscles because we do so much work with them. So we're going to do some marching in place, just regular marching in place if you can. Good. And again, you could do this for about a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It depends on how much time you have that day with your students. Okay, marching, good. So that's one way to generate heat in the muscles. The other way as well, ladies, you're going to, if you can, so progressing from marching in place, you could jog in place. So jog in place, trying to get your hips, so how you want to jog is a little different. I want you to do more a marching jog. So as if you're jumping. Yes, there you go. Perfect. So you go from just regular marching to a marching jogging in place. Okay, so that's one way. So stop. Thank you, ladies. And now you're going to lift your hip up. So again, bend your knee, lift your hip up in front of you. Good. Bring that leg out to the side, and we're going to do like hip circles. So you do that and you just go around, come down, bring your knee down, back in front of you. So without your foot touching the ground, you're just going to roll your hip around in circles. Okay, so lift your knee up to the side, bring it down, and back up again without touching the floor. Good. So to the side, to the back, your feet doesn't touch the floor, back to the front, and again and again. So you'll do that. Let's do it on the other side. So lift your knee up in front of you, to the side, to the back, foot doesn't touch the floor, back to the front, again, to the side, to the back, to the front, the foot doesn't touch the floor. So that's a nice way to generate more heat, more flexibility in the hips. The other one, ladies, is kicks. So we're just gonna kick our leg in front. If you're able to touch your foot with your hand, please do so. So you're going to lift your leg up in the front, kick, and then switch. So alternating legs. So kick, yeah. There you go, perfect. Keep going, keep going. And these are also warm-ups, but it's also a dynamic stretch for the hamstrings, okay? Good, thank you, ladies. Next one we're gonna do is inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold over, touch your toe. Good, inhale, back up. Inhale up, and just spread your feet. No, yeah, inhale your arms back up to the ceiling, spread your feet, and you're just going to slowly, if you can, just arch your back, arch backwards. Looking up, good. Inhale, bring your feet together, fold over. Good. Inhale, come up, spread your feet, arms up to the ceiling, and then just take another little back stretch. Good. Fold over, bring your feet together. So that's just another way that's a nice total body warm up. So you're warming up everything in the body is actually working at this point in terms of warming up. Bani, should I start the poses, or what should I do now?
I would just want to add that, after the warm up, which is the joint, all the joints, like Thais showed you the circular motion, repeated motion, and then all the, like even in the dance, we do this Shirobheda, then we go to do the shoulder, we do the torso, hip, everything we should be doing to increase the blood flow and the heat of the body. Then we go into the flexibility where we try to incorporate the length of the muscles and the elasticity, also incorporate the joint structure and the nervous system. The flexibility exercises, again, doing it, holding the pose for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and repetitive movement really helps to increase the flexibility. And most important, it prevents the injury of the body with, for the dance, you need that kind of endurance and the strength in your muscles. So after the flexibility exercises, you go into the strengthening, where you do the repetitive movement, which is to have a tension while you do the movement, like a squat movements. Then you increase the tension while you are in that pose. That, again, those kind of strengthening exercises very good for your balance and for the whole performance. Then you go into the your exercises, or your dance exercises, or your steppings, and all the technique that you can do, Brahmari, Charlie, sthanakas, mandalas, all that you can practice that. And then you can go into the bandha poses, which is what Thais is going to start. So warming up is very important before you start doing the bandha. Okay,
Yes,
go ahead.
warming up is important, and also, like as Bani D is saying, even traditional Odissi exercises that you normally teach your students in your Odissi program are strengthening exercises. So after you warm up, and if you did if you wanted to do stretching and so forth, and follow up with strengthening, Odissi exercises are perfect for strengthening the body. And also steppings, because the great thing with steppings is that you are also increasing the speed. And by increasing the speed, you're working on the power of the movement and also the agility. So stick to what is, part of the tradition in Odissi. So we are going to start with the vinyasa krama, and a lot of the progressions that we're seeing in terms of practicing for the bandhas is highly related to yogic practice and a style of yoga, which is vinyasa krama, which is building up to the higher level of the pose in a sequence. So continuously, yes, in the beginning, doing that sequence may be challenging. You may not be able to get it, but the point is, if you continue practicing the vinyasa krama and the sequence as it is, it would eventually come to you. So Bani, are you going to? Okay, so I'm just going to start with Alicia and Lakshmi for this one, okay?
Okay.
Since they're pinned and I could see them, I don't see you.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So ladies, I'm going to ask you to come onto the floor. And while we were discussing, although this vinyasa krama is supposed to take you into the Hanuman pose that we're going to practice, what is the Bandha name for the Hanuman pose, Bani D? You could just
the Hanuman pose is the yogic pose, and then we go into the chira or duimukha.
Okay. So what we were talking about with Bani D yesterday is that sometimes, even though you are following the vinyasa krama, you may not have the shoulder strength for it. So here's a preliminary exercise that you could do just to strengthen the shoulder joints in preparation for some of the lengthening that's required for the Hanuman pose. Although it may not seem you need flexibility in your arms, you'll be surprised that everything, muscle, fascia, tissue is all connected. So it's important that, yes, these other areas are also worked on. So just one pose that everyone knows. Ladies, if you could come into downward dog.
Oh,
I lost Lakshmi. There no, but Lakshmi and is no. Okay, thank you. So downward dog pose. No, go back, guys. Back into downward dog. I see you now. Sorry. Okay, so Lakshmi, walk your hands a little bit more forward. Good. And Ambika, walk your hands a little bit more forward as well. Good. So this is regular downward dog, and if you're pushing back into pushing your arms, walk your hands forward, Lakshmi. Yes, and just push yourself back without moving your hands. Perfect. When you're doing that, you are working on your arms without moving your hands. Okay. So that's just the first level of that in terms of working on your arm strength. And now drop your knees to the ground softly. Okay, put your forearms onto the ground. And if you want, you could keep your hands on the floor. You could fold your hands together. It's up to you. You could keep your palms onto the ground. Keeping that pose, now lift your knees up. Push back and lift your knees up. Okay, so then this is another great way to strengthen up the shoulder joints, which is what Andrea was telling Bani D yesterday. So this is another preliminary pose for this. Okay, ladies, slowly drop your knees to the floor. Okay, so that's just a nice way to strengthen. And sit on your feet. Come up and sit on your feet. Good. So sitting in this pose, I want you to put your hand, plant your hands or your fingertips behind your hips. Put your hands on the floor, Lakshmi. Yeah, hands on the floor. On the floor, floor. There you go. So you can either be on your hands or on your fingertips. It's up to you, whatever it's good for you. And this is a nice way just to lean back and just start stretching the front of those muscles as well. And from here, ladies, I want you to try to lift your hips up off the ground. Good. So again, we're working a lot on shoulders, hip flexibility in the front. And as you could see from here, Lakshmi already went and did like a more advanced pose by looking back. You could do that, or you could do what Ambika is doing and looking up at the ceiling. Again, it depends on your level of flexibility. Thank you, ladies. Come back and sit onto your feet. And from there, I want you to stretch one leg out in front of you. You pick a leg, it doesn't matter. Yep, you're gonna just work on that leg for now. Pointing your toe, so sitting just like that, I want you to inhale your arms up towards the ceiling. Hands are clasped, so fingers are interlocked and your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. Okay, good. From that pose, I want you guys to inhale, exhale, fold forward towards your foot. Good, and hold that. And again, you could hold this for another 20 seconds. I should have had them holding the poses for 20 seconds before, just to demonstrate, but I went ahead. So we'll count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale and come back up. Ideally, you would repeat that 3 times. Okay, but we're not going to repeat it 3 times because it might be a little time consuming. So come back up, sitting up, Lakshmi, sitting up, Ambika. And now we're going to inhale again. Inhale your hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, fold over. And from here, you're going to rotate your chest towards your bent knee. There you go. Yep. Okay, guys, that's fine. You could do it that way too. You could rotate towards your straight leg or towards your, let's try rotating towards the bent knee. Thank you. And hold it there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Perfect. And inhale, come back up. Okay, and now you're going to place your hands behind you. Again, place your hands behind your hips, fingertips on the floor. So if you can, have your fingers facing the other way, guys. There you go, perfect. And from there, you're going to inhale and lift your hips off the floor. Excellent. Hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And please, as you could observe, you could see the different levels, right? From Lakshmi to Ambika. Okay, inhale, you're going to come back down. Okay, and now bring your hands more in front. So bring your hands right alongside your knees. And again, we're going to inhale and lift the hips off the floor. Okay, so inhale, lift your hips off the floor. Perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And exhale, come back down. And the next progression in this sequence is you're going to, again, we will lift our hips up, but this time we're going to extend that bent knee behind us, okay? So inhale, lift your body up and extend that back leg towards the back of the room where you were sitting and into that pose. So that is the natural progression of the Hanuman pose. Okay. So, okay, ladies, we're going to stand up. Okay. And similar to how we began with our warm-up exercises, I want you to inhale your right leg up, your right knee towards your chest. Good. And grab that front leg and just hold it there. To wrap your two arms around it and hug it in tight towards you. So in this pose, you want to try to get a balance. You don't want one hip leaning to the side. So if you're feeling like an asymmetry with your hip tilting to one side, try to straighten up. So that standing leg, try to straighten up that standing leg that's on the floor. Okay? And hips are in, hugging tight. Yes, good job. Okay, and you're going to lift on your standing leg, lift your kneecap up so that way you're even more straight. Good. So exhale, bring that foot down to the floor. Okay, next, again, we're going to do that onto the next leg. Okay, so inhale, the opposite leg, knee up to your chest and hug it tight. Again, if you're feeling that you're wobbly, try to straighten up that standing leg. Your hip should not be jutting out to the side. You shouldn't feel lopsided. Lift your kneecap so that way you're standing nice and straight. Good. And exhale, bring that leg down. Okay, inhale, the opposite leg up to your chest, same thing. Inhale up.
Timing is we have limited timing.
Okay, no problem. I didn't know. Sorry. All right then. So we'll just move straight into it. Okay, so the next thing you could do is inhale, bring that knee up to your chest. And now you're going to grab the bottom of your foot. You can, with both hands, grab the bottom of your foot. And now you're going to inhale, try to straighten that leg out in front of you. So not to the side, but to the front. Good. And hold it there. So that's another progression. And now just with one hand, grab your big toe. Opposite hand, Lakshmi. Sorry, sweetie. Opposite hand. Use the other hand, Lakshmi. Right. And grab that big toe. And right now, if you can, inhale and bring your head towards your knee in this pose. And hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, good. So you see where we are. So as you get stronger, you'll be able to hold the pose even longer. Okay, so one more time, ladies. Now we're going to go through a little bit more now that we know the sequence. Inhale your knee up to your chest. Grab the bottom of your foot with one hand. Opposite hand, Lakshmi. Good. And now bring that leg out to the side. There you go. Hold it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Lakshmi, elevate that leg even more. Up. Lift that leg up even higher. There you go. And hold it. 1. Yes. So we're practicing there, right? So that's the strengthening part. So each one of these vinyasa karmas, doing that, you're stretching the hamstring as well as strengthening. The longer you could hold it, the more strength you have gained in those muscles, as well as balance. This is not just balance, it's also strength, because that hip has to be able to hold itself up in that position. Okay, so that's so from there, so let's just do that one more time, and now we're going to go into the Nataraj pose. So inhale your knee up to your chest. Okay, no problem. Grab your big toe. Good. Bring it out to the side. Okay, good. And now, if you can, this might be a little too advanced. Good. So from here, grab your, actually, we're going to go into the other pose. So bring your leg down. And from a profile, could you ladies stand at a profile? So that's also a progression you could use for the Nataraj pose as well, because you're still stretching the hip. And now I want you to inhale, bend your knee back behind you. I'm sorry, standing. I didn't say that right. Right. Lift your leg up behind you. Grab your foot and then extend that leg up towards the ceiling. Good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. So ideally 20 seconds. Of course, when you're doing this in dance, you want to definitely be able to hold it a little longer. And that's why the practice and the strengthening comes in. Okay. So Bani, should we move on to the
last one? Yeah.
the last one? Okay. Okay. So ladies, let's come down. So let's sit on the floor. This last pose definitely requires hip flexibility, right? So I want you ladies to sit with your legs in front of you. Okay, and as you, a little prep for this pose in terms of warming up, getting the hips stretched out for this pose. Let's spread our feet as wide as we can. Good. Inhale, walk your arms forward in front of you and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Walk your hands. Come back up. Walk your hands back up. And now I want you to turn and face your right leg. Inhale your arms up. Sorry, ladies. Turn, face your right leg and fold over. Good. And hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale, come back up. Come back up. Your arms up. Good. Inhale your arms up towards the ceiling. Turn and face your left leg and fold over. Exhale, fold over and hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Come back up. Inhale your arms up and come back up into center. Bring your feet together. Okay, and now we're going to, let's turn over. Let's come into kneeling pose. Okay, so again, this should be at a profile if you can. Okay, so I'm trying to see the best way to, okay, so ladies, just fold one leg, bring your leg folded in front of you, like in pigeon pose, how you would do, bring that front leg forward. So that, right. So Lakshmi, could you use your other leg? That way they could see a little bit better. Yeah, perfect. So these, right. Okay, good. So Lakshmi has her foot in front of her thigh, right? Lakshmi, you have your foot facing the wall. Are you on it, or I can't really see what you're doing here. So bring your foot, right. So bring that leg a little bit forward. So Lakshmi, you have that leg tucked underneath you, but I want you to actually have your foot. Yes, thank you. There you go. So hold it there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale and fold over. Walk your hands forward. Good. And bend over. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Inhale, come back up. Okay. And now for this, Lakshmi, we're going to actually take we could do this 2 ways. You could stay with your leg in this position, or you could come up onto the ball of your foot. It's up to you. You decide what's feeling comfortable for you. So Lakshmi might be able to pick up that back leg with one hand, your back foot, right, and hold it there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, and then now so release your hand, and now come on to that leg that you're that sitting leg, now come onto the ball of your foot. Good. And put that knee on the ground. Drop that knee, that front knee to the ground, the front one. Right. Is it on the ground? It's touching? Okay. As long as that knee, I can't see too well, as long as that knee is touching the floor and you're on the ball of your foot. So you should be, Lakshmi, you could drop that back leg, you could drop it to the floor. Good. And sit up. Perfect. Okay. And now we're going to pick that foot in the back up, grab it with one hand. Inhale. Good. So Lakshmi, you're bending forward. Are you able to sit up? Right. And now grab that leg. Perfect. And hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And a more advanced pose would be to that hand that they're using to balance. More advanced, you'll pick it up behind your head and you'll be able to grab both feet if you can. So you have to be, I can't really see how.
You can see Bani.
So you should be facing, huh?
Bani is doing.
Oh, Bani's doing it?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't even see Bani D to say. But if whatever Bani D is doing is perfect. So that would be, so Bani D, if you're on the ball of your foot, good. And you grab it. And the more advanced way would be to get both hands behind and grab it. Yes, you could do that. Or the mudra that Bani D was doing before as well.
Rashmi does it beautifully. She goes all the way. Her head touches
Yes.
leg.
Yes.
Mine not touching, but
perfect. Perfect. Like I see Lakshmi doing it too, so I actually have both of you doing it. Perfect. So that's the progression for this pose as well. Do you have any questions?
Any questions, girls?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. Hi, myself Rahul. I have a small question. I want to know the importance of breathing when you're performing these exercises. Since I can found that this is again a part of a bandha in terms of yoga, what you're performing, I believe. Again, we are locking certain areas of our body so that we can actually manipulate the energy to specific areas, right? That's what we do in Bandha yoga. If you're performing yoga, that's what we do, especially Hatha yoga, or if you're practicing different postures of yoga. We activate energy, right? So these postures I can see, these are helpful in dance, of course, as mentioned by Bharata also in Natya Shastra. So what is the role of breathing, proper breathing? Anyone need to acquire more attention towards the breathing process when we are practicing these kind of routine?
So definitely when you're practicing these poses, you do want to incorporate the breath. Usually when you lengthen, you inhale, and when you're closing the body together, you're exhaling. The thing is, because it's like an area of moving from the Bandha practice into dance, when you're dancing, when you ultimately would be dancing and incorporating these poses, there wouldn't be time to do that extensive breath of inhaling, exhaling. So that's why your body should be able to do it before it's actually performed in choreography. So in practice, definitely the breathing is most important. But in dance, no one has that time to inhale, exhale, for all that repetition. And you just have to be able to get the body into that pose on demand in dance. I don't know if Andrea or, yes, Jyoti, I see you have a question.
As you said, during dance, there is no time. But now I'm not able to do last many years. But when I was performing all these bandhas in a different choreographies of one of my gurus, Bani, have seen many. But when we keep practicing it every day, when you are doing the same bandhas, so while performance also, you won't believe I could have maintained my breathing, and that was it's so challenging. I had so few bandhas during my fire dance, the dancing with a fire. And that time I was using 100 candles in the one hand. You can imagine the 100 candles, how much wax is there. And you won't believe, just because of that breathing control, that warm, hot, burning wax were flowing all over my body. And I've never realized that this is happening. People were like shouting, like Jyoti will finish today. She will not be alive anymore. But I have done more than 100 shows in that fire dance. Bani have seen that. So I'm giving this example because, you know, when every day you are practicing like this with the control of your breath and your muscles, with the breath, when muscles are working with your breath and your mental, your subconscious level is also involved with that, your movement, it's so spontaneous on stage also. And it still, when I'm dancing, my breathing goes very well. It's more deep breathing rather than normal activity. Like if I'm sitting here, maybe I'm not doing so much good breathing, so much deep breathing, but while I'm dancing, my breathing is better. I think that's a practice.
And it is a practice.
What do you say, Bani?
Yeah, I wanted to just add one thing that Rahul was asking, that Bandha poses, that Bandha yoga that you use is a pranayam, right?
Yeah.
You can also use it in the Thais can explain better that the bandhas of the body are, you can use it while doing the asanas. That is to rejuvenate your, or redirect your energy. Maybe Thais, Andrea, if you guys can explain that better. So the two things, right? One is bandha poses, one is bandha yoga, bandhas in our body that we are trying to,
Channelizing the energy.
Yeah.
Channelizing the energy. Yeah.
Andre, do you want to add?
Yeah, Andrea, please.
I'll just say that what Jyoti explained is such a perfect example, because as Thais mentioned, if you're doing this breath work as you're training, it's just going to transfer to when you're dancing and performing. It becomes natural. Your body just remembers it, and you actually can send the energy to the different parts of the body that need to be expressing what you need to express in that particular moment with certain movements. So it all comes together. And the other thing people say, you're like in the zone, so to speak. It's because you are in sync with the breath, with the bandhas, with that energy channeling everywhere. So all this training helps you find that.
Yeah, yeah.
The training helps it to become automatic. So it's spontaneous and you're not thinking,
Exactly.
I must do this, I must inhale, I must exhale. It
You
just
don't even
becomes,
think.
yeah.
It just becomes
Very
natural.
Very true. Yes, any other questions? Bani, anything which is left you want to add?
I'm sorry, I've over time. I mean, I guess you have performances coming up with Ravindra Sangeet, so I'll